You're gonna want to buckle up for this.
Had to issue a refund.
Future me, good luck. The bird drama in this neighborhood is getting out of control. What's probably my most unhinged bag.
I'm not terrible at everything I try to do. This is just a mishap. Hopefully we can make some cool stuff together and not completely lose our minds. Oh, hi! Welcome to Swoon I Studios. I'm Jo, and this week we are prepping for my first 3-day event. I am stressed. I'm afraid I'm gonna make too much stuff. I not know what to do with it, and I'm also afraid I'm not gonna make enough stuff for 3 days in a row. It's an outdoor street festival up in Concord, New Hampshire. It's gonna be a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, which seems like an odd set of days to pick. That means I can take my time setting up Thursday morning because I assume there won't be a mad rush to my booth at 10 o'clock on a weekday. But since what would have been my last event was the most successful one I've ever done, I sold a bunch of sling bags, I sold a bunch of my saddlebags. So I'm down to like 7 designs of my slings and 3 of my saddlebags. So I'm so excited to restock both of them. I love making both bags. I'm gonna go through some material I have acquired in various forms and hopefully put together like a decent batch of bags. In addition to those 2 style bags, I have a giant stack of dumpling pouches to replace the ones I've been selling out of. That's the inventory item that I thought wasn't selling super well. I was like, I love making them. They're so fun to make. They're so useful. I use those more than any other style bag I make, but I feel like people don't like them. No, it's my top seller. It's easily my top seller. I made the comment about my most recent event because I did a last minute pop-up yesterday at a axe throwing place. They were doing a tournament and it was $30 for a spot, and I wanted to test out a layout with some new things and just play around with my setup ahead of the 3-day event. I was gonna do this in my own yard just to do another test run, but I decided I'd pay $30, go set up at this person's establishment, potentially sell some stuff, and also get the mock-up session done. So I did. I sold some dumplings, I sold a sling bag, I sold a dog bag holder, but it was this little old lady from Canada and she took my whole like display. I had like a dog leash. It was just like a piece of rope with a swivel clip on the end. It wasn't anything fancy, but it also had like the one roll of dog bags I had in the holder. Not that there were many customers after her, so I don't feel like I lost out on sales because of her taking that, but it did make me laugh. I couldn't bring myself to stop her. She was just so excited. Her little Maltese Shih Tzu named Millie was really gonna love it. I was like, I can't let her not take it. I'm just letting this happen. So a little old lady consensually stole off my display. But anyway, I am restocking some dumplings. It's all cut out. I still need to do like the interfacing and then actually like assemble them though. And then this is another free pattern. This is the Ramona hipster bag. Still gonna make the strap for it, but I have 2 other colorways that I'm gonna put together and have just like a little batch of fruit bags. And these have a zipper on the top. My first time doing a recessed zipper. So I don't know that I'm gonna make more than this fruit batch I'm putting together. This will be a clue to the other colors I'm doing. I don't know that I love it, but I like having little collections of things when I test stuff. I want to at least get the other 2 done just because I think it'll look nice having them all out together. And then if I have time, I would like to have fun new handbags for this event, but I need to get through the necessary items first, prioritize that. I have a lot of other stuff I have to do the next couple weeks, so I'm gonna get done what I can. I'm gonna take you along for the ride, and hopefully we can make some cool stuff together and not completely lose our minds about this event. It was also only like $185 for a 3-day event that, from what I have seen and heard from other people that have vended in past years, really good foot traffic. We'll see what happens. I've paid more for a 1-day event and done terribly, so I'm feeling confident about it, which I hesitated to say just then, but it's okay to feel positive about things. It's so foreign to me still. Okay, let's do the fun thing and like go through the material options that I have. I'm so excited. So I hate buying a lot of things online, but especially like material. I hate clothes shopping online as well. I think I've literally just bought like a couple t-shirts and like a pair of tights that didn't fit off the internet, but that's about it. I almost never buy stuff online unless it is for my business, and I've been really wanting to delve more into vinyl accents on my stuff. So I got these strips. Yeah, as I'd hoped, it's enough to get the flap, the like tab that gets the magnetic snap on it. You need 2 of these pieces, and then this accent piece on the front. All 3 of these out of here. And listen, I'm gonna work with every scrap that I get. The other like fun thing about using small bits like this, rather than view that as a challenge, like, oh, I can't make all of the vinyl out of the same piece for the gusset. Either I could incorporate another color of vinyl to make that happen, but I was sent carpet samples years ago by my dear friend Crafty Grant. They're, as indicated by their handle, very crafty, and thought I could use these for, I think I was only making very basic zipper pouches at the time. But for an example, these are some fabrics I picked out to use together. Is this bee fabric, which makes me think of Bridgerton, and I'm delighted about that. But I think using this carpet sample for the gusset, that'll kind of just be like the side and under part, obviously with some interfacing because it's a little floppy, and then have maybe this black, but maybe I'll find a different color vinyl that works better. But this is the fun of designing the bags. It's time consuming picking out and then cutting out all of the pieces and then getting all the interfacing and stabilizers and stuff for all of these. And then the assembly is almost the least time consuming part of making stuff like this. But getting to like mix and match everything it's so fun. It's so fun. I'm so excited. So I have some basic colors. There are some metallics like that silver, and I have a couple golds. Then there's some like pastels, and there's like a nice navy blue. If I could find just a big swath of vinyl that's that color blue, I would die happy. I got a couple pinks, and oh, wait a second. Do I have? I've been wanting to make a Ramona Flowers bag with vinyl pieces for ages, but they're difficult colors to find, but that pink might work. Then I also ordered some glittery vinyl, and I was really expecting like a clear coat to be over all of this to make it smoother. It's not like sandpaper, and it's not like it's shedding so extreme. I'm so sorry if you hate that noise. Like, I have one piece of glitter on me from doing that, but I didn't want any shedding. I think I'm overanalyzing it. Like, it's fine. I think this is going to be fun to use, but yeah, lots of fun colors. I don't know if glitter is quite my vibe. I just don't know if like I personally am a glitter girly, but especially because I have outdoor markets coming up in the sun, I think will look really cool. I don't know. I'm debating returning this because it's not quite what I was thinking it'd be. Again, this is the frustration of buying online, right? I can't get my grubby mitts on it, and then I feel like a brat when I'm disappointed with something. But what I did get to get my grubby mitts on as far as vinyl is a friend of mine, like with the carpet samples I was given that were just going to get thrown out otherwise. A friend of a friend worked at like a shoe factory, and they got samples of stuff, like different kinds of faux leather. Same, that they were just going to get tossed out otherwise. You can't even see the like hole where it was on display. I was given so much vinyl from this friend of mine because they were given the stuff that their friend couldn't use, and then anything that didn't suit their aesthetic, which is very like woodland fairy, doesn't suit their vibe, but this sure does suit mine, and they just let me have all of this. Wild. I don't know what to say, to be honest. But there's some really fun stuff in here. These are all different types of fake snake skin. And then this like fun plaid down here. Camo is not quite me, but that doesn't mean I can't make it for somebody else. So I am gonna have a lot of fun mixing and matching. The like feature fabric is a quilting cotton, and then I mix it with whatever other material I'm doing. I also have some waterproof canvas that I use for the gusset piece as well, just to add another color if I need it. So I will also probably be using bits of that in addition to the carpet samples. But as far as the fabrics I picked out for these bags, I have some spooky kitties. This is also Spooky Kitty. I've already sold a bag with this pattern. I have some foxes. I have this metallic fabric, which I've also sold one of the saddlebags with this. And here's the fun of it, right? It's like, I'm basically never gonna make two of the same bag because I use small bits in every little scrap and I mix other things. Like even if it's the same outer fabric, it's not gonna be the same exact placement and the linings are gonna be different. Things like that. I have this really fun Tula Pink raccoon fabric I recently found. Then I sold saddlebags out of each of these fabrics at that really successful event I did a couple weeks ago. Then this cute Argyle skull fabric. I love it so much. And then I've got some shroomies. So I think that's a good starting point. I can always make more. This feels like a manageable amount to get done in the next couple weeks, plus the dumpling pouches, plus my fruit bags that I'm dropping all over the floor. These are the other colorways. Then if I can make a couple like one-off handbags, I think that'd be so much fun, but I'm not gonna stress myself out about that. Also, to prep for my next batch of bag making ventures, I did end up ordering a bunch of different colors of zipper tape. I have a bunch of different zipper heads. I have this zipper head jig because I'm sick of fighting with a fork to get the right zipper head onto the right zipper tape. And then as far as pre-cut zippers, look at this absolute beaut I put together. I used like a baking cooling rack that I had for my displays. I have a couple more of these. They're very useful, but this seemed like a good way to attach my zippers to it with binder clips. I have sets of zippers on safety pins. The safety pins are hooked onto the binder clips. Binder clips are hooked onto the cooling rack, and it just makes it so easy to see everything. They're all hanging, so it's not going to get crumpled. And I can tell, like, just from sitting over here, oh, I don't have that many more 7-inch zippers, but I have so many 22-inch ones to use up. And I have, like, the metal zippers I was talking about in my closet clear out video from whatever the last post date was. That's the kind of stuff I want to incorporate into some of the garments I would like to make. So I'm going to put on some podcast episodes I've been banking. I have the Pearl Mania 500, now called Too Many Tabs. They did one of the Akatar books. They did the second one, and I'm dying to listen to it. That's gonna bring my whole morning up like several levels and really get me through this work pile that I'm excited to do. It's not like this is gonna be a slog, but it's gonna be time consuming, and I'm probably gonna be annoyed with how long it takes me to get everything picked out and cut and prepped. And I always feel like I haven't done anything when I haven't actually sewn anything together. But I mean, there's a whole joke about 90% of sewing is just prepping your stuff and 10% is actually like running things under the machine. And it's extremely true with bag making. So yeah, it's gonna be fun though. I'm excited about this collection. And also thinking about stuff in collections has been very, very helpful. Let's do it. Somehow we have jumped to Thursday. I don't know what is happening. The buzzing you're hearing in the back is the dehumidifier, because it's one of those days where you take a shower and you towel off, but then you never fully feel dry because the air is just so wet. It's my least favorite part of the year, but I will keep the complaining to a minimum. I will say the pollen is unhinged. I've been doing outdoor events. Like, I worked the farmer's market yesterday, which is why I wasn't able to work in here much. But Bert did wake me up at 4 a.m. and not let me get back to sleep. So I did a little bit, which was making the stripes and sewing them down to these other bags. And I got a new zipper jig that made it super easy to put zipper heads on tape that I can like cut to length instead of having all the pre-situated zippers. It took me too long to figure out how to use it, because I thought you like put the slats here through the grooves in the zipper, but what you actually do is like rest where the toggle is attached on it, and it holds it for you while you pull that through. Because I feel like when I've used the fork method, I've had the fork prongs go like up-ins the zipper, but that's not what that's for. It made it super easy. Like, it does what it says on the tin. All the comments on the video from that brand, I'll link it down below. I think it's literally just called the zipper jig. All the comments on the video were like, I don't understand, like, you did a bad job showing it, and I don't understand how to use it. I couldn't get it to fit. It's like, it made me think people were also trying to do the same thing as me. So I felt less dumb and was just gonna return it because I was getting very angry at it, where it's one of those things, if I don't pick it up quickly, I hate it. I spent the rest of Monday and all of my time in here on Tuesday cutting out saddlebags. All I did. I haven't even cut out the interfacing yet. I haven't applied the interfacing. No assembly has started. I haven't even picked out the hardware, let alone attached it. There's a reason I have to charge so much for this. Days of prep work still before I even start putting them together. The reason I was not filming more while I was working on them is because I was a big weepy mess. One of my best friends had to put their pup down, and that dog not only gave so much love to that person, and that means a lot to me, that it was something that brought one of my best friends joy every single day that he was around. But after I lost Frank, my previous black and tan mini dachshund senior rescue, in 2016, we had him for just shy of 3 years. And it was a month or two after we lost him that I went to visit this friend in California, and this dog, his name's Cappy, healed part of me while I was there for that week. He kept asking for hugs. He was the first dog I ever met that would like paw at you if you wanted more scratches. It was literally just like me trying to work through cutting stuff, but needing to take breaks because I couldn't see because I was crying so hard. And then sometimes I literally had to just like sit on the floor in a ball for a bit. So rather than dwelling on that, I'll just show you what I did cut out and helped me keep my sanity that day. Thankfully, I was doing something that didn't require a lot of brain work. It was just picking out pretty things that I liked together. So I have a lot of pairs of main fabric designs, always with different linings or gusset fabric or even just the vinyl going over it. So it's never going to be two of the same, but I do have some that have some similar fabric chunks. Did cut out this purple skull argyle, and that's going to have this as a lining. This fake holographic snake skin as the flap and like the detail that goes across the bottom front of the bag. And then this will be the gusset. Those are scraps I got from that friend that gave me all those bits. Then the other one of this skull argyle will be getting this like iridescent scrap vinyl with this purple velvet lining. And the gusset is going to be from this carpet sample I had, where I thought this part of the design was really cool, and because it's all monochromatic for the main fabric, I thought having a slightly jazzier situation for the gusset would be a lot of fun, and I think it's gonna look really cool. I really like how this part came together. The downside with the carpet samples is they shed like crazy, so it's gonna be a bit of a mess doing those ones. Then I cut up a sloth. That guy will have pink polka dot lining. This is actually an old bandana I had laying around. Then that's gonna have this glitter vinyl. I did decide to keep the glitter vinyl. And then this really fun textured carpet sample. It's like folded down. I don't know what this is called, but it's fun and it looks like trees, like tree branches or whatever. So I thought that would be fun for the sloths. Then I've got trash pandas. It took me a while to realize that they are actually interacting with the trash can, and there's like an apple core, there's soda cans hidden in this artwork and fish bones and stuff. I love Tula Pink so much. This glittery galaxy stuff will be the lining. I'm actually gonna do this like hot pink canvas. This is scraps from my Ramona Flowers bags. That'll be the gusset for one. This will be the vinyl scrap going along with that. Then I have a second trash panda with same lining fabric, but the gusset and the flap bits are gonna be out of this really pretty like black cherry vinyl. That was from a scrap roll of vinyl I was sent from my fairy god Cheryl. So that is not from the same stash I have all these other bits from. Like this is from that most recent stash where it's holographic, like floral snakeskin. So that's the gusset, and this is the flap for black and purple Space Cats. Very excited. This is scrap from a custom order I did for someone. They needed like a very heavy duty tool bag, so they bought that vinyl and let me use the rest of it. So also scrap. And then that's getting the purple velvet lining. Then I have another purple black Space Cat bag that's getting a glittery purple tab and flap and same gusset. So again, like some of them are getting similar pieces, but none are getting the same layout of things. Then I have these pieces. I actually cut these out with the last batch I made, but I ended up doing crushed velvet for the lining for whatever bag I had been working on. Then I've got this holographic, I don't know what to call this print. That's gonna have a really plush velvet lining, like really dark purple. It's like eating the light. And then this is scrap vinyl from like a previous stash. And then this is one of the few types of vinyl I like purchased a yard or two of, just because it's, for me, a good like neutral fabric. Another one of those, same lining, same flap, but the gusset is this really shiny silver fake snakeskin. I certainly do make bags that are all recycled material, but a lot of the times I like buy a fun main fabric at a quilt shop or whatever, and then I supplement everything else with like scrappy bits or de-stashes from other people. Then my favorite little guy, my little strawberry mouse. I have this for the lining for one of them, a nice like warm red for the flap and tab, and a waxed canvas for the gusset. Then I have a second one with this for lining, an almost orangey red for the flap, and then same gusset. Then what's next? Oh, mushroom. I had fun picking this out because this isn't my typical color scheme, but I don't know, I like the colors I picked together. So this is one of the linings. This is the flap and tab color. This is one of the pre-cut vinyl bits I got in the mail. And then carpet sample for the gusset. I really like this specific design. I have a lot of colorways of this that Grant sent me. I'm just glad they're getting used. Then other mushroom one has this for the lining, which I think is really pretty. A darker kind of brown, but still in that like burnt umber territory. And then a less yellow carpet sample for the gusset. And I've got some bees. That's getting this vinyl, which is one of the other ones that like I bought yardage of it. I actually think it was a remnant roll, but still, this was like new and not just scrap from someone else. This is the gusset and this is the lining. Then the other bee one has the same flap, but this is the gusset. It's a cooler toned shiny silver snakeskin scrap. And then this is the lining. Then what's probably my most unhinged bag. I'm curious to see what the reaction is going to be to this. I only made one of them and it's the Rainbow Space Cat, right? this is the gusset. It's hard plastic blobs. This is going to be a nightmare to sew. It was a nightmare to cut, but this is going to be the flap. So it's going to find its person, but it's definitely a loud bag. And then yeah, this is that like splatter paint stuff for the flap and tab. And it'll be this fun rainbow galaxy lining. Then I've got some moon cats, bright yellow flap and tab. Then this like black and kind of dusty gold gusset. Then this for the lining, another moon cat, same gusset actually. I think that's the only one that has the same gusset as an, oh no, the mouse bags I guess have the canvas. But that's gonna have this like really dark teal. I don't know how to describe this, but those are scraps from my most recent pile. And then it's gonna have this crushed velvet lining. These are scraps from the dress I made for myself for a Christmas party, I think last year. Two years ago. It was 2 years ago. Then I've got some boxes. One is gonna have glitter flap and this as the gusset. Then this velvet as lining. And that is D-Stash velvet from my fairy god Cheryl. Then I have one other fox one that's getting a darker orange. That's also not glittery. This blue and orange. Like how perfect for the gusset. Then just like a plain orange for the lining. So that took me 2 days to cut all of those out. It's my favorite part, like designing it, but picking out all the stuff. Even though I have a general idea of what I have, I like hunting for the perfect thing. So I do put a lot of time into piecing those together. Now I need to basically make myself a checklist for how many bags I have and how many pieces from different types of interfacing I'm gonna have to cut. Then also I need to cut interfacing for all the dumpling pouches because there's too many. Okay, hi. It is the following day, but I did bring you along to my alterations night last night because I thought for sure people just wouldn't go because it's the summertime. So I brought bolts of interfacing so I could cut out the fusible fleece and stuff for the bags I've been working on, for all the dumpling pouches and these saddle bags. I brought the patterns with me and everything to make sure I had everything I needed. And I have a picnic basket, as you can see back here, that I put all of my tools and stuff in. So I have my like button storage and all my embroidery floss in case I need to do I don't know, quick repairs like that. I have like scissors and chalk and measuring tape and some patches and stuff like that in there. And then a rotary cutter, and I bring a cutting mat. I try to bring stuff that would be basics that'd be needed for most alterations. Obviously, if there's a super specialty thing, then I need to bring it home. Like I have some heavy duty overalls to alter for someone, and I want to make sure I use my industrial for that because I don't think my domestic will go through that fabric very well. I got a little iced chai. But yeah, so someone had me take in the sleeves of their shirt because it is just like weirdly proportioned, the shirt that they got. So that was a quick fix. I shortened curtains for someone, and there was miscommunication. This is the first time I've had to issue a refund, and I charged him $15 for the work, and he asked for a $5 refund. And like, honestly, I think that's reasonable if he's unhappy with what I did. I had the curtains, right? And there's a tag at the top, and then usually when curtains are cut, you cut the bottom. But he did say he wanted 5-foot long curtains, and he didn't specify, other than asking, will you need to like move the tags somewhere else? Because they were, you know, Walmart curtains with little tags at the top of the curtain. I think he thought the tags were at the bottom of the curtain, but they weren't. And it was such a like straightforward alteration, like hemming curtains, absolutely. Like that's one of the basic things I do all the time. I didn't even think to like go over, like it was a pretty straightforward thing he was asking. So I cut them to 5 feet. You know what's funny? I have a big enough wingspan that I was able to just hold the measuring tape out and mark 61 inches, like pretty comfortably. I cut them, I hemmed them because he wanted 5 feet. So I added an inch so I could fold it over twice at the bottom at 1/2 inch. So then it made it 60 inches long. I gave them to the guy, and I didn't interact at all with the tags, where I don't know why he thought I needed to add the tags back on. I have no skin in this game. These aren't my labels, so I have no reason to put them in there. But if you want the care instructions, that's what I had said to him, was like, if you need me to add them back in, if that's where I'm cutting, I gave them to him. He paid me. Then he sent me a picture when he got home on my Instagram. And I know it's a business Instagram, and I know I have like a public facing presence, but there's part of me that does get panicky sometimes when there's that like immediate access. It's not inappropriate to message the business Instagram of the business you just did a transaction with. It'll happen, you know, if I get an Etsy message and I don't respond right away, people, like, I've had people get really upset with me about it, or it's like, hey, if you message me at 2 a.m, I'm not gonna see that for hours. If you have a question, like, I will get back to you, but I'm not like on a hotline for this. And then I get treated like I have bad business practices when I don't like immediately respond to stuff. So I get a little frustrated with that. And I've talked to other like small business friends about like the expectations from people are wild these days. Okay, hi, quick update on the refund situation. You're gonna want to buckle up for this. I'm gonna make a little treat for myself for not absolutely losing my mind. I don't know if vindictive is the right word. I didn't do anything to this person. I'm just grumpy about it. I'm making that like whipped coffee, the Dalgona coffee, TikTok coffee, if you will, with the Nescafe, like instant coffee. I don't even know how long this has been in my cabinet. I think it's 2 tablespoons of everything, so I think I need 3 of these. Or I guess I could just make a half batch. Nah, screw it. Go big or go home, right? I don't have to go anywhere else today. So, alterations night on Thursday. I don't know if you can hear the turkeys in the background just then. I'm gonna put a little like story time up on my Patreon for the bonus video this month because the bird drama in this neighborhood is getting out of control. Anyway, these were narrow curtains, so not much more hemming distance than a pair of pants, but nightmare fabric to work with. Just to break that down a little bit, because I find it interesting how people come up with their pricing, because I never know. Like an hour after I do these curtains, I get a message saying, I just got back with my drapes and the wrong end was cut off. I thought I had made it clear. That phrasing gets my hackles up. I thought I had made it clear that the end with the labels was to be cut. Can I get a $5 refund, please? I have a picture of the drapes with the labels post-alteration to like prove they were there. I know they were there because I didn't cut them off. I was not going to argue that they were still on there because they were at the top
of the curtain. So this is my response. I'm so sorry for the miscommunication. I just thought you wanted the bottom of the curtains shortened and those were actually at the top. So like explaining why I did what I did. Can you tell I'm more mad about it than how my tone was in the car? Because I was still feeling down about myself when I was recording that little bit. And I took accountability, like, sorry there was miscommunication. I can absolutely give you a $5 refund. I immediately went to the Square program and refunded him $5 off of the $15 thing. Then the following day, he asked me if I have Venmo. I assumed so I could send him $5, but I had already sent it. So I said, I refunded the $5 back to your card, so should be all set. I even did a little smiley face emoticon because I wanted to keep the tone light. And I wish I had just ended there. That would have been fine. I ate the $5, it's fine, whatever. For some reason, this response after that made me like see red. I was so mad. I don't know if I'm being petty, being upset about this. The lack of any kind of gesture or any kind of like, hey, sorry, here's what the response was. Let me know if I'm being like irrational. So he goes, thank you very much for that. But upon reflection, I realize you were right that the label is at the top. Which indicates to me he didn't even try to hang them up before he messaged me and asked for a refund back and didn't like confirm I had messed it up, because of course the old straight white guy would know better than me how to do my job. This is the tone I mean. Is this irrational of me? I feel like I'm not a bitch about a lot of things. And I think it's valid. If someone else was explaining the situation to me, I would also be like, yeah, that sucks. No offer for the $5 back. And listen, it's $5. I'm not gonna starve without it. It's frustrating, but like, I'll be fine. The gesture of like, hey, can I send the $5 back? Can I have your Venmo actually so I can send that over? I'm sorry for putting you through this whole ordeal and making you feel like shit about yourself and questioning your abilities and your judgment and whether or not you have good instincts with what to do in these situations. Obviously, I'm projecting a lot onto this person, but that's it as far as acknowledging the whole situation. We're like, I was hemming curtains. There are a few jobs that are more straightforward, quite literally and figuratively, than hemming a pair of curtains. I feel like things get more complicated trying to hem pants sometimes for people, but these are at the top of the list as far as like easy to do and easy to like communicate to somebody the thing you need done, right? Then he follows that up with, I have another trickier alteration for you. The curtains shouldn't have been this tricky. The curtains shouldn't have been this tricky. Listen, this is not an aspect of my personality that I like when I get catty like this. And I'm trying not to be dismissive about my feelings because they're valid, but I don't know if it's over the top. Anyway, I have another trickier alteration for you. Taking in too wide a pair of shorts. Are you back there on July 4th? I'm just not responding because I am not interested in doing work for someone if curtains are this big of a problem. I am not interested in getting into something trickier where also it's indicating like I might not be able to do it. I have not often been confident about anything in my life, but God damn it, I can take in a pair of shorts, be it the pant leg is too wide or the waistband is too wide. I can absolutely do it. As long as we're not taking in like 8 or 10 inches and it's just a little bit, we can make this work. I can make this work. I've done it. I can do it. I don't see myself doing it for this person. I think this might be the first time I've had to cut somebody off from my services and refused work. So I'm not gonna make like a big scene about it or ream the guy out. Just make it clear like I don't think we're a good fit. It's not like he was berating me or anything, and I don't think his language was inappropriate or anything, but it's shitty to go through those lengths before even trying to hang your curtains and then realizing like, oh wait, that person did know what they're doing on this very basic task. So anyway, back to whatever else I was saying. Thanks for coming to my little ranty corner. I'm gonna make some coffee and then get back to sewing some bags.
But yeah, otherwise, so I took that shirt in. I have overalls to fix, and then There's a shirt someone gave me right at the end that has like a keyhole in the back that I need to replace like a button with a loop. The button fell off, and they actually would prefer just like a metal hook and eye closure so they can put it on and off themselves. Also, they want that shirt because it's a good funeral shirt. And I told her, you know, it's funny, I was doing my closet clear out last week and I had called one of my dresses like, that's a good funeral dress. I've had people react weird to that response. I mean, life is what it is, you know? So it makes me less stressed knowing that's there and I don't have to think about that part of it. It was weirdly validating hearing her say that. So I was like, okay, so you also have like a good funeral garment. Then there was like a hole in her leggings she wanted me to repair. That'll just be like a quick stitch over. And then there's a baby blanket that's like 50 years old and the binding came off of it. So I'm just going to reattach it. It got stretched out because it's bias tape. And that's what it does, is it gets stretched out. So I'll just have to like shorten it a little bit and restitch it down. So it should actually be pretty straightforward. And I'm trying not to feel too discouraged about the curtain situation, where I will say a previous me would be spiraling so out of control over this and just be like, I'm going to stop doing alterations nights altogether. Like, this is why I don't bother doing it, you know? Yeah. I'm not as shaken. Like, I had a wicked pit in my stomach. Like, I felt like I was going to throw up or something after I opened the text and realized, like, oh, he's unhappy with something. But it went away pretty quick once, like, there's an obvious solution. He's not asking for me to do anything else or, like, replace him or anything like that. So it's just a $5 refund. That's manageable. That is the life of doing work for people, is there's going to be miscommunication sometimes, and it's just part of it. So if this is the worst of it so far, this is the only time something like this has happened in my like custom work for people, I am absolutely fine with that. But yeah, there's 2 spots I usually set up in. If there's not like a pop-up food thing, I take over this area, and there's like a nice big countertop that I was gonna cut my interfacing on. And I was still able to chalk out a couple bits, but there was also someone that stopped by, a friend of a friend that I've known for a really, really long time, but we haven't talked all that much. My best friend is her best friend's sister. So we've like been at a lot of the same family events and like know that family very, very well. That was really nice to catch up with them. Yeah, got to do some work there, took some work home with me for other people, and then got a little bit of my own stuff done. But the plan today is just to hunker down and cut out interfacing. So I think I'm going to find like some podcasts to listen to and just let myself zone out, have a fan on me, because it's not hot today, but it is very humid. I'm not currently sweating, which is nice. So I'm going to haul the rest of this stuff in and then get to cutting. And I'm making sure to use my, oh, they're still in the car because I haven't unpacked it from last night. But these scissors, they're like spring loaded. So especially if I'm doing a lot of cutting, these are such a big saver. Like, I think I have like a callus building up over here. I'm left-handed, and when you have to use your own hand, like your own thumb, to like lift the scissors open, and like for little bits of cutting, that's not an issue. But when you are doing that, like this is going to be hours of my day today, it gets really like overbearing on your hands. So these were a gift from my fairy god Cheryl, if you can believe it. And they got like a little bit of grip here, like the blue is rubbery, and they do a great job. So cutting through interfacing will be made much easier with that. But yeah, I'm going to stop procrastinating and go do the thing. What time is it? It's 11 o'clock. Oh shit. Also, speaking of curtains, I have my own curtains I need to hem for my setup, because I got some sheer black curtains for my, you know what? That's not for today. We're not going to think about that today. We're just going to focus on the task at hand. Literally, cutting interfacing is the only thing left on my checklist. I'm not terrible at everything I try to do. This is just a mishap. All right, gang. It is now Saturday. I spent 5 hours cutting interfacing yesterday. And that was the Decoville light, which is this like, it's like fruit leather. I don't know how to describe this. I haven't used it yet, but I think it's going to do what I want it to. So these are for the main panel on my saddlebags. This whole box This whole box is just saddlebag interfacing. There are hundreds of pieces in here. There's 20 of those. Then I cut woven interfacing for the lining of the flap on the bag because it's always quilting cotton. And I find if I don't use woven interfacing, it has enough flex to it that I'll get puckers when I flip it inside out because the lining is, you know, ever so slightly smaller than the outer fabric when I like fold the edge under towards the lining. This kind of interfacing helps with that. If you have issues with that when you're doing a lining in that way, when you're like flipping something out after sewing it right sides together and it's supposed to be like a flat piece. I've had that problem in the past when I've been making bags. Remember that messenger bag I made? I should do another one of those. I think I drew out the schematics. Right. It was based on the bag that Sabrina wears in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. That red messenger bag. That was a long time ago. I'm proud of that design. I haven't thought about it in a hot minute, but I should make some more of those. Yeah, because it was like a big main boxy pocket and then there was a like flap on the front. I remember getting puckers on there, but I centered it so it almost looked like a pleat, so it looked like intentional, as I tried at least. But anyway, then there's some fusible fleece, which, did you know they made it in black? Because I didn't know they made it in black. So naturally, I bought a whole bolt of it. But that's going to give like a little extra structure to the flap pieces. There's 20 of each of those because I'm making 20 saddlebags. So that's up to 60. Then I have 20 of the back bottom panel, the part the pocket goes over, that's getting woven interfacing just so it lays nice and flat. Then the outer pocket layer of the quilting cotton is also getting some interfacing. So we're up to 100 already. Then there's like the top back panel piece that goes above where the flap is attached. This is the interfacing for that. That's 120. Then the gusset pieces, some of those fabrics are chunkier than others, so I didn't cut the Decoville for all of them because they have that rigidity to them to start with, but all of them are getting foam except like maybe one or two. So these are in 2 pieces, so this is another almost 80. So there's 200 pieces of interfacing right here. Plus, I got all of the dumplings interfaced, except I guess I was short because I can count, meaning I absolutely cannot. I counted out 17 bags that needed black interfacing, and because the fabric was doubled up, I was like, okay, if it's doubled up, I'm getting 2 per cut. I need to cut out 8 because 8 times 2 is not 18, it's 16. So I am a little short, but that's okay. So the ones I set aside are these 3 pineapple boys that I could just cut two more pieces of interfacing and have this as part of the batch. Should I just do it? I should probably just do it. Fine, I'll do it and I'll add that to the mix. I've gotten this far. I cut it out, I cut out the lining, pressed everything, got 1 of the 3 pieces of interfacing, and I also picked out the zippers for it. So why not? It's just 3 more. So I have about 40 of these going on, and I did use pre-cut zippers for most of them, but some of them I cut zipper tape because I got some assorted colors of zipper tape with complementary zipper heads. I'll throw in a little clip of me using the zipper jig and how easy it is to line up the edges, because that's the problem with putting the zipper heads on any other way, is I do have a hard time keeping the zipper tape level, so like one end gets a little higher than the other and then you get like a bubble going on. The boss wanted to come and say hello to his people. Hi. His little tooth is sticking out all the time now, so also his tongue sticks out a little bit when he's sleeping. You're a cute little old man. I know. We just went for a walk, so I'm still cooling down. So I'm actually going to turn the fan on and tuck him on the couch, and I will finish knocking out this pile of interfacing by attaching it all once I cut out those 2 other pieces. I packed all my stuff away so nice and neat too, so I think that's why I'm hesitating taking it all back out, but it's gonna take me like a minute to do all of this, so I don't need to avoid doing it. All right, my friends, we have come to the end of the road. Meaning I got all of my saddlebags interfaced. I did knock out those last couple dumpling pouches. I got all of the zipper heads on the zipper tape that wasn't a pre-cut, and I've actually attached most of the hardware. I have like 3 bags left, but for the saddlebags they get magnetic snaps, so the main panel on the front gets the female end, I guess, and then the underside of the snap tab gets the male end, and it just tags right on there. So the prep is officially done once I get these last 3 done, but it shouldn't take more than a minute or 2. I would like to kid myself that I'll have time to get these done in this upcoming week, so the week leading up to this getting posted. Today's the 8th, I think, and this will go up on the 14th. Tomorrow I have a brewery shift, and then I'll have D&D at night. Monday, first thing, like, I have to be out the door by 6:30 in the morning to go to a car appointment because there's a recall, and this will be the 3rd vehicle in a year I've had to bring in for a recall, and I'm just so tired of sitting in dealerships for something I didn't do. Then I have some doctor's appointments. And here's one thing about like figuring your health stuff out is it's like emotionally draining and exhausting and takes like all my mental energy to get stuff sorted out, but it's also so goddamn time consuming. Like literally just going to all the appointments. But I do really like that doctor I'm going to see. Then I have to build and then host Jim Henson trivia, which I'm excited about. I have a good number of questions done already, and I'm so looking forward to it. And then I'm actually going to take most of Thursday off because the second part of Bridgerton season 3 is coming out, and it's only 4 episodes. So I think like midday I'm going to go have like a little tea party with some friends, and we're gonna watch that. And I know I still have to work that night, but I'm looking forward to kind of taking a day off, because I work most weekends. You know, I've been working all day today, and it's Saturday, where I was trying to do this schedule where I put my inventory building work in motion during the week, and then on weekends I did personal sewing. But I have a closing window of time to get enough stuff together for me to be comfortable going into the 3-day market I'm doing, because I really don't know what to expect, and I'd rather have too much than not enough. I was almost gonna buy some hanging baskets online, and then realized with my new like chain and dowel system, I can also just use those chains to hang my wire baskets I used to clip onto my display grids, and that'll get the same mission across, and it won't be as bulky. It'll be a smaller profile as the ones I was looking at online. So wherever I can reuse stuff I already have. The only other thing I really need to get in time for that, and I might be able to borrow one actually from someone, is another tent wall. I'm already tired of thinking about that event, but hopefully it's worth the effort. Anyways, in addition to, oh, actually I can show you if you want a little sneak peek at the zine that's going out for mail time perk folks. This is hot off the presses. My printer takes ages to do it because I'll print it at like maximum DPI. I don't know what DPI stands for, but it's really good print quality, and I don't get that like banding across that I do if I just do a regular print. So it has my new logo and just the new background I've been using for everything, and a whole bunch of new designs that some I've actually already made, which is exciting. But yeah, this is one of the things I send out to some of the folks over on Patreon, where, if you don't know, I make a point to shout everybody out over there every single video, because I wouldn't be able to make these without everybody over there, regardless of what tier you're at. I really appreciate any and all support there. Even just by watching this, you're helping support me. So if you hang out for any of these, I would love to hear from you. I personally am a channel lurker most of the time, but I do find when someone is like, you know, if you wanted to leave a comment, I wouldn't be upset about that. So if you're the type of person like me that often doesn't comment unless actively prompted, tell me what you're up to this summer. If you've been doing any projects, if you have any trips planned, if you're just surviving. I will show you all the goodies I make. Hopefully I have all of these bags done by the next time you see me. That would be stupendous if that were the case. And I'll show you the little updates of the setup, because I believe I'll have done that 3-day event by the video after this one. I think that's good math. So end of June, you should be seeing all of those updates, and I'm excited to share them. I hope it goes well. I hope I have good news to deliver to you. Future me, good luck. You're gonna kill it. We've got this. I will see you all back here with another video in 2 Fridays. Thank you so much for hanging out. Ooh, I could see you if I didn't have so much pollen in my eyes. There's so much pollen on the ground. That bird is literally leaving paw prints like it's freshly fallen snow. It's the worst. Was I not recording the whole time? Whatever. Look at this monstrosity. I almost shut you in the cabinet. Fake snakeskin? Fake skin? I want a little treat, because I'm just a little guy. Muppet arm flail. Also, I just need to stop recording so I can turn my fan back on, because it's getting freaking humid, guy.